Hello everybody, my name is Cerebellum, this is Academy of the Ancients. Today we'll be doing a replay review of Ferim's Riki. Riki, of course, being an assassin type carry, similar to Bounty Hunter or a Slark, who we actually have on the other side, in playstyle. But yeah, he's kind of a DPS carry, similar to Sniper, in that he's really a glass cannon, and he can he relies a lot on damage to kill people fast, and it's a lot happier with smaller engagements than outright team fights. He's got an AoE silence with miss rate. Yeah, he can put down a smoke cloud, which gives any enemies caught in it for the duration will be silenced and have a very large miss rate. Invoked on them also get movement and attack speed. So this is a huge debuff in an area. Very good spell, very annoying to deal with. You also have Blink Strike, which is a very good gap closers, very good for adding damage to your attacks early on. Yeah, so you can use this to escape as well, but you need to do it to units. So it's very similar to what Phantom Assassin has. To her Blink Strike. I can't remember what that's called. I thought that was called Blink. It's called Phantom Strike, yeah, Phantom Strike. It's very similar to Phantom Assassin's Phantom Strike. Yeah, and then he's got Backstab. And honestly, I think probably maybe you scale up this first. Though it's very nice to have your escape ability first, of course, but I don't know how much you want to use this really. Whereas Backstab can actually be really good for denying in lane, especially when you have 40 int. Or 40 agility, I mean, then you get 0.5 of that for your damage from behind. So you get an additional 20 damage to deny with, which can be really good in lane. So I would maybe favor that, though. It's definitely second level Blink Strike, I think. And then you have, of course, at level 6 you want your ultimate, but before level 6 I'd say level the Blink Strike very rapidly. I would say probably max this one out first, because the damage bonus you get from it is very significant. It's 120 damage in the early game is really good. So if you can have that by level 7, that'll help you a lot. And also the fact that the mana cost or the cooldown it decreases so much is very significant as well. Backstab's obviously more powerful in the late game. Once you really rack up your agility, it starts to be really significant. Here early on, one level is really good, but I think more than that early on, not so much. Smoke Screen also stacks up really nicely. We see the area of effect, and as well as the miss rate scales up really well, as well as a small scale up in mana cost. So it does get a little bit more expensive, but honestly, it's 5 mana per level. It's not gonna hurt you at all, probably. It's very insignificant. As for starting builds, this is pretty sensible. He randomed this game, so he's got more money than usual. Else, you know, Buckler for any kind of melee carry is very good. Any kind of melee that really needs last hits is almost always necessary, as well as some regen. Here he's chosen to use his bonus gold on upgrading it to a poor man's shield, which is a very good idea on Riki. He likes his agility, he likes a bit more last hitting potential. We see he only has 56 damage with this poor man's shield, which does give him 6 additional agility, so it does help him a good bit. I think this is a really good choice. Maybe the alternative, or one alternative you could do instead, is go for a Quelling Blade, a Buckler, and then just the Tangos. That's a kind of greedy melee carry build, starting item wise. You could do this instead, and maybe just make a start on the poor man's shield. I think you can with if you have bonus gold from randoming, you can do that. Yeah, but he's in the right lane. At least he's just in the carry lane, in the safe lane as the farmer, which is I think where Riki should be at. So let's see how things work out for him. Right now he's alone in lane. Hopefully this Cotton that's here mid will decide to join him up top. They have two that are definitely going bottom, in the Luna and the Abaddon, and that's a pretty good lane for them. I think that's pretty good. They're gonna end up against 2. It's gonna be a Slark and a Venomancer. That's a pretty even matchup, honestly. But the Riki is really uniquely badly suited for solo laning. He is very reliant on his ultimate. He's not very tanky at all. He's below 500 HP from the start. He does have 6 armor, so he's not like he's got no tank, but he's gonna have like a little bit of a hard time of it if he solo lanes. On the plus side, you can kind of just do the offlaner thing and just leech EXP for a good while. We're gonna switch it over to his perspective now, so we can see where he keeps his camera and good stuff like that. We're gonna keep an eye on the last hits and the denies. We see here he's being zoned really effectively. There is some assistance in the form of that Cordle I was talking about before. The Keeper of the Light is coming up top to kind of help him up. There we go, nice hit from behind. The enemies are a bit low, but that is an Undying they're up against. You really, in almost all cases, you don't want to fight an Undying early on. He falls off so rapidly and he has such a big advantage early on. Spells are so good early. And he's just going in. That might be a big mistake. Yeah. Go. We see they're doing, like, even though they are pushing in on the tower and they're keeping very good distance to the tower, the enemies are still not completely doomed. Yeah, no reason to go down to the wave here. This is a bit dangerous. Very nice blink out there to the Cordle. Very good call to just get out of dodge there, though the enemies don't have anything that's too scary. And in fact they're hanging out while being way too low. So using their regen effectively, they're able to hold the line here so far. So let's just check real fast. I want to see one tanker remaining here on the Undying. He's been, all this aggression from him has really been tearing on all the regen he brought to lane, or maybe he just brought very little. But looking at just 2 gauntlets of strength, I think he probably had a tanker and a clarity aside from that. The Darkseer, a little bit better off, but he's still not doing super hot. He could almost finish his soul ring here, which he would be very happy about, but I don't think they should be super aggressive. I think they should just be looking to deny the Riki farm more so than actually get a kill here. And it's actually working out very much to the Riki's favor. Because they're forced onto the tower, he can actually look for some farm here without being completely crazily outmatched. They do manage to pick up the first blood, the Darkseer and Dying combo here just working out for them. It is a bit dangerous. When the wave is pushed this far, the tower can very easily end up focusing the wave and just being occupied by that, and effectively meaning you don't have a tower to protect you if they dive in like that. And they just do, and the combination between the Darkseer Surge and the Undying's early game potential, we see these. He's actually leveled up his Tombstone twice. I think this is a little bit much. He should probably be leveling up his Decay more heavily. The Decay is really rather good. Yeah. No, actually, this is pretty good. But the Decay is really good early on. So yeah, there was just a little bit too much there to handle for our Riki player. They have a drop to the pattern. We are gonna skip right past this. I got a little bit caught off guard. I know I said this worked out well for the Riki, but the Undying Darkseer combo is not something I've seen before, so yeah. Not doing too good of a job last hitting so far. He could be getting more, definitely, given how many. It is harder to last hit on the tower, and this is a pretty decent skill build he's going for here. One-on-one is fine. I think he definitely should max Blink Strike first, put some more points into that. But this is pretty good. He's got a Cordle in lane. That's not the best pairing with him. I think probably if the Abaddon was up here, that would be better for the Riki. Riki would be very hard to kill then. But the Cordle can't really do too much. Getting some free last hits here is good. Dying shows up, being a party pooper. A little bit of an Illuminate coming in. Can't really hope to do too much against it. Dude who steals a ton of them of strength. Though they are getting low, they still just can't really deal with him. Now, however, all his regen is used, so that is something to keep in mind. They are effectively zoning out the Undying rather than the Undying zoning him out. So that's very good. And a nice opportunistic kill there on the Darkseer, very well executed. Just spotting the opportunity there. Yeah. again, very nicely done. The Undying there being too aggressive, maybe got cocky because they got the kill on the Riki before. But yeah, when you don't have any regen, you're on half-life, Riki does have some damage in lane, especially if you can get your back. He is he's got a good amount of levels from this, and he's snowballing pretty well right now. But he is maxing out this backstab first. So let's just analyze really quick, what's this backstab giving him? As opposed to what would the Blink Strike give him if he had put 2 extra levels in that instead of 2 extra levels in the backstab. So basically he's getting 50% more from his agility. Right now his agility is at around 55. It's in fact exactly 55, which means he gets, let's say, 28 damage per hit if he hits people in the back with his backstab. So another 28 damage for every hit. He has, oh, we can't see this, so he has right now 1 attack per second. Makes the math very easy, so 1 attack per second. He can every 20 seconds throw out a Blink Strike. Now he is a bit haggard mana wise, but if he had if the Coddle would just give him some mana, that would really help. So that really shouldn't be a problem. But so 28 damage per backstab. Whereas if he leveled up this Blink Strike, he would be given 60 damage per Blink Strike. So 60 damage right now is pretty significant. The Undying, of course, very tanky, 800 health. The Darkseer a little bit less so at 750 or so. But the 60 damage there from the Blink Strike, as well as the cooldown on the Blink Strike, I think would be quite good here. It isn't like completely insane to level up the backstab this much, but it is, I feel, probably a lot better once you get a few agility items up and running. And of course, if the enemy decides to man-fight you and just stand looking at you, then yeah, you're not gonna get any extra damage here. But now the Riki, because they gave him early kills, has gotten an early level 6, which is one of the worst ways you could possibly try to handle Riki, because now he's so much stronger that he can just go invisible. There's also a lack of disables in this game on the enemy team. There's pretty much the arrow from Mirana and the pounce from the Slark to worry about. There's no silences. Riki's Invis is disabled when he's silenced, so anyone who builds into an orchard here would maybe be good, though there's not really a good candidate for that. Maybe the Venomancer. Maybe the Venomancer if the game goes crazy like that. But probably not. Probably not. Probably the best way for them to kill the Riki right now is Slark and Dust.
Middle tower.
Or, you know, hitting a lucky arrow and then Dust. Because he will go Invis even when stunned. So yeah, now there's not a lot they can do here. He's just, you know, the wave is pushed, he can just farm to his content. Have a bit of fighting in the jungle here. The Riki doesn't care super much about this. They have warded the lane heavily. But wards, really, when he got this Blink Strike, it's not gonna be too effective. Go. Nice little pick off there, but they do have the vision on him, and he dies. Should have been a little bit faster on the Blink Strike there, I think. So I think this is actually a bad trade for them. He does use the Blink Strike at one point, killing the Darkseer. Of course, having it at 10 seconds lower cooldown would mean it would be off cooldown by now. And now the Undying can get a very good Riki kill here. And the Riki, you really need to be prioritizing your own farm at this point over kills. This is a huge loss for them, absolutely huge. They should not be happy with this at all. Luckily they are leading a lot in last hits. They should be leading on gold still. Yeah, but a little bit. XP is also approaching even now. Though it is, yeah, 1.5, just 1.3k advantage for the Dire team still. But that was, you know, you don't need to be pressing the aggression here. Especially not, like, you can usually find out whether or not you are in you are being sniffed out by a sentry ward if you just get aggroed by creeps in lane. And usually any semi-intelligent opponent will wall up your lane like that, since it'll kind of take control away from the lane from you. This is of course very good for your team, as you are forcing out a lot of a lot of sentries, which you know, if they don't end up giving you anything, it'll be pretty bad. I think it's pretty random, this second point in smokescreen. Either level that up heavily or level up the blink strike. Almost certainly the blink strike, as it is the damaging ability. Of course, the smoke cloud, smoke screen, and is equally useful throughout the game. There isn't really anything that will negate its effect in the late game. Like BKBs will stop it, but nothing more than that. So that was a bit of lacking map awareness here from our Riki player. Oops, I meant to pause here. So let's just go back to just before he dies here. Here we are. So let's see what happens from here. They lasted a bit. They lasted a bit. Right here. Let's take a look at the map. We see one guy mid. We have the Venomancer mid. And nothing else. So that means this is actually pretty dangerous moving along this side here. You've already died down here. You know there's sentry walls. So why move forward here with the creep wave? And that's a really small creep wave even. This will be pushed back a little bit. Now this is just a lacking map awareness. For some reason he hasn't caught on to the fact that they could see him, and they just planned a very easy arrow. He could have even, you know... Yeah, there was no reason to die there. That was very sloppy. He's going for a diffusal blade first here. Looking at the enemies, I don't know that I'd say that's a very good choice. But it can be pretty good on Riki.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So the thing with the diffusal blade is it really does three things for Riki. It's a way to remove what's it called, status effects, negative or well, buffs. You can debuff people with it. It's a purge effect, is what I'm trying to say. So it also slows and damages if it's a summoned unit. But mainly you use this either to purge yourself of bad effects, like a silence that still allows you to use your items, but doesn't allow you to use something like your blink strike, which you would want to use. So that's one part of it. It also gives you 25 or 30 agility if you upgrade it, which is obviously really good. There's a bit of intelligence as well. That's not super important for Riki. And then of course it also gives you a mana burn. This feedback passive here, which allows you to burn 20 or 36 depending on upgrade level in mana, and the same amount in physical damage. And now Riki likes to stack up agility, which means he gets a ton of attack speed, which means effects like these that deal damage per attack. Most of these, or well, the good examples I have of these in items are Diffuser Blade and something like a Mjolnir or the Maelstrom, which, you know, will trigger off more often if you attack more often, so you get more damage like that. The Basher is also Basher or Abyssal Blade. The chance also really benefits from a very high rate of attack. So that's really why you get it on Riki. It ups your offensive potential a lot. In this case though, I would personally maybe favor just going for a Manta style, just to be able to purge myself of annoying effects like the Venomancer slows or yeah, anything that prevents me from using Blink Strike to get away. But the Diffuser Blade isn't bad. It's just not really my preference in this game. The fact that it drains mana isn't going to be super relevant here. Very badly placed Cloud. Darkseer. Very nice spell there from the Darkseer. Riki manages to survive there. So let's go back and see what the engagement was there. What really went right there. Why they won it. So the Riki places down a horrible smoke screen over here. Slark goes in, tries to catch him, but they have no way to detect him, so they can't capitalize on this half-dead Riki. They go in anyway. The Undying's already dead. They are focusing down the Tombstone. Darkseer does plant his wall, but he doesn't have his vacuum, so he can't actually force people through the wall. And Riki again ends up living because the Darkseer planted the Iron Shell on the Riki and not on anything else that could hurt him. Riki manages to go back, get the last hit. Does take one poison sting here, but it's only level 1 poison sting, so the damage over time is gonna be not super aggressive, and he can actually live through this. So the Riki whiffed his smoke screen here, but there was nothing against the Darkseer absolutely botching almost every spell there. The Undying dying before they actually come in, and the enemy not having any dust to reveal the Riki meant they just had no hope of actually winning that engagement. It's fairly simple. Now the Mirana's gonna try to make something happen here. It's gonna fail. They're gonna be able to get a deny off on this tower. Huge battle in terms of effect on the game. That will be very good for Riki's team here, for the Dire
Radiant's
team.
bottom tower is under attack.
1200 or 1200 gold, yeah, ahead and more, well in excess of actually 3.5k XP ahead now. So that's pretty good. It's very good on Riki to be ahead in terms of XP. It's even better to be ahead in terms of gold, since he does like his items very much. Now the wards over here should have timed out, and the Riki is much less bound to the lane at this point in the game, so can be more aggressive farming over here. But you know, you have to be wary of where you get spotted before and what kind of effect that should have on your play. You can get area denied semi-easily, like just with sentry wards. Then you have to kind of be aggressive about de-warding. Have to have a little bit of support, of course, and then you have to just kind of accept that, okay, they spent money to deny me this lane. They have to have enough power here to actually deal with me. Even if they just warded, that isn't quite enough. They have to actually also be able to fight you, because the invis doesn't actually help you fight. It's just sort of a very good escape tool and initiation tool. So the Riki is farming pretty well in general. You see that the 3 carry potential heroes on the Dire side is farming really well. They are choosing a fight here. They probably should not. Yeah. So we will go back and look at that fight from the beginning of it, because there's a few interesting things to talk about here. The number one thing is, should you even be looking for a fight? Which, as this is a leading question, no, you should not. So Luna, TA and Riki are all pretty good carry potential heroes, and they also have an Abaddon who's actually pretty decent in the late game as well. On the other side, we have some very early game oriented heroes. Venomancer, all his spells fall off drastically in the late game. He still does a lot of magical damage, but the magical damage stops being really devastating once everyone is kitted out. The Undying, also, you know, he just steals like 4 strength. That's not, no one's gonna be super impressed with that late game. Mirana is really bad late game. She needs an item to be head items to actually do something late game. The Darkseer is pretty good late game, since the Wall of Replica scales in damage with however much damage whoever you use it on has, though of course Vacuum can't be used on BKB targets. So it's harder to combo with the Wall. His weird build here should have a 2 points in Vacuum instead of second point in Surge here. This Lark, also pretty good late game, but you know, the core of the matter here is you have the vast carry potential advantage. At least one of your carries should just be farming. At least one. Instead, they're all going down here fighting. The second up is the second reason why I think this is a bad fight to take is the fact that we see we are gonna be into their territory soon, and the Riki just got a DD, very nice ulti, and very nice arrow from the Mirana, clutch plays, and there goes the wall, no combo with it though, there's the Undying, Venomancer, very nice ulti hitting 2 here. So they got the TA, they got the Riki, and now Luna chooses to do a solo ultimate, which is pretty bad. They could fight this Luna if they wanted, or yeah, they are gonna to, yeah. Yeah, looks like the Keeper's gonna bite it here to be combined slow of all the zombies and the Venomancer. So they lost 4 there for 2. And let's just take a look at the effect of this fight. We see now it's a clear downwards trend. We now have a 4000 lead in XP for the Dire side, and we have a less than 1000, more like 600 gold lead now. So it's a huge swing in terms of gold at least, and we probably also see the levels are starting to look pretty even. The Slark keeping up nicely, though the rest kinda lackluster, but it's definitely a bad fight. The Luna did get a single kill there. She did manage to kill off the Undying, but still, the Luna isn't. She for 16 minutes this is decent, but this is not super scary. She's gonna have a Helmet of the Dominator soon. She's got Drums, Helmet of the Dominator. Basically, she's still mostly an ulti in the team fights. She does have her glaives. She does have a pretty good right click, but it's not that scary. So the Luna isn't really at the point where she can carry yet. Our Riki certainly isn't. He hasn't finished a major item yet, so his net worth is probably not very impressive. That's interesting. We don't have a net worth? No, we don't have a net worth. But he is doing the best farm wise, so one must assume he's once this, I mean, you always get a lot better in terms of fighting once right when you finish a big item, and the diffuser blade is pretty big here. It is a very big item here in the early game, so probably look to fight after you finish this.
Dire's structures are fortified.
And not, right before, and not on the enemy side, not when they just got a DD, and getting sandwiched by them was also very unfortunate. So yeah, at this point in the game, don't chase so hard a slog. Just be happy to get your farm up, be happy to get kills when you can see that they're occupied. Like right now, fighting right now when there's 3 enemies bottom, and then you can take a fight here mid. That would be great if you had the opportunity for that. But just when you have the enemy team on tabs, try to fight then. Else just get up your big items and get yourself snowballing.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
It kinda sucks to say it. Of course, there's some fights you have to join up with. You still have your area of effect silence and very good debuff. See, this is a bit better in terms of fights. There's only 3 here. You got a good kill. Now on the Darkseer. Mirana again using her ult to great effect. Loving seeing that. Another thing about the diffuser blade, the Darkseer doesn't actually inherit the unique attack modifier. So that's something the Darkseer can enjoy quite a bit of this game. So a bit of a nice skirmish here. They've killed 2, lost 0 so far. They did lose 1 at the beginning of the fight before the Riki joined it. Get the Slark kill here. Darkseer again using this. I don't know if the Darkseer knows what this does, but the Darkseer is very much fond of using this on the Riki. Probably maybe so that they can keep tabs on him. There's some effects that will be visible even though the thing they're on is invisible. No, okay, the Iron Shell isn't actually one of those, because one of the things you can do with Iron Shell actually is putting on like a bounty hunter. So if you have a kind of cheesy lane in Darkseer bounty hunter, you can put the Iron Shell on the bounty hunter is invisible. You can't see where the Iron Shell damage is coming from. He can do damage while still invisible. So
Dire's top tower is under
attack. A little bit of an interaction there. Not super relevant this game, but I'm just kind of wondering why this Darkseer keeps putting the Iron Shell on the Riki. It honestly seems like he's just spamming his spells on the Riki because he wants the Riki to die. So going straight into the Yasha here, I like this a bit, though I think this game, maybe a BKB would also be very good. They're taking a few losses here now. The Riki died, and don't know what happened there actually. So let's just head back, see how that started. Should be... There we are. So they kind of fight down here. I have to unpause it so I can stick to free camera. There we are. Here we are. So enemies piling in over here. They already blow the Undying ultimate, so if they can fight up here, they won't have that. Yeah, not the Undying ultimate, but the Tombstone, which might as well be his ultimate, his most powerful ability. So we have a 3v5 first of all, or 3v4. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Yeah, and the Slark is down here. So there's a 3v4 going on, and it's kind of a poor 3. So the Abaddon isn't too intimidating. He doesn't have his mech up yet. He does have Vladimir, which is very nice, but not without the mech. You know, with the mech, this becomes a whole different deal. They do have the TAT is okay on the farm, not super good. And then they have the Coddle, whose contribution in this fight is gonna be pretty dismal. He's much more of a utility laner and you know, anti-pusher. Doesn't really like straight up fights he's in the middle of. So they probably can't win this fight. Probably the smart thing to do is Riki here is to stay out of it and just say that, well, that's lost. Because you know, these are far stronger fighters. They've got the Venomancer. He's got his ult up momentarily. He actually has a mech. They've got the Darkseer. He has his combo up. He manages to land it this time, I think, even. The Undying is up. He's popped his ulti. So the less they get out of popping all these ultis, the better. The Mirana's, of course, here. She's just finished the Desolator, I think. And that's, of course, a huge item and really, really scary to be up against. I don't know why this net worth is bugged out. But it's a little bit annoying. So let's just see what happens here. Riki comes in and is just killed instantly. He probably got caught in that dust. No, he didn't get caught up in the dust, but he gets killed anyways. There is a ward here, but this is just an observer ward. Yeah, I don't think Starfall can actually hit you when you're invisible, but it certainly looked like you got killed by it there. Yeah. Anyway, joining that fight, I'm calling that a bad move. Might be debatable, but you know, losing 3 is better than losing 4, basically. And that was a losing fight, so got caught in all the ultimates or all the AoE effects going on.
Radiant structures are fortified.
And that's not super happy times.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Now the enemies are pushing high ground. Actually, they need to be doing this at this point. Again, they are very out-carried this game, so they want to close it out, or at least get racks before you know you reach the late game. And that's usually, you know, they're looking for the game to end somewhere before 35 minutes. A bit of a sloppy smoke screen again here. Riki looking a bit pale here already. I'm gonna pull out this time. Now this is more of a dubious choice to pull out. Though again, this smoke screen could have been placed a lot better. Needs to be a lot sharper on those, Mr. Ferim here. Slark, very tough customer. Not really something a Riki can kill on his own. But he's gonna give it a good shot. Yeah, there we go. Slark's just gonna turn this around. Yeah, this Venomancer is doing a lot of damage here. Let me just check. Yeah, he's doing very well on levels as well, I think. Yeah. The Venomancer, a Venomancer with a level advantage is no joke. There's a reason why he's starting to be played much more as a mid or at least a core than as a support, and that is because if you can get these spells early, that it's just so much damage. So this just Venom scale. The strike damage is 100, so that's just right when you're hit by it, it's 100 damage, and then the damage over time is 90, and every 3 seconds, so that is basically 5 ticks of 90. 5 ticks of 90, that is 450. So that's a 550. Is it 5 ticks of 90? Yeah, it's 450. 450. So it's 550 damage with a 50% slow for 50 seconds. That's pretty insane, and it's AoE. That is that's almost ultimate worth it right there. That's you know, all Riki really doesn't like magical damage, since you know you've got a ton of armor, but there's nothing to really stop the magical damage going through. So I think probably I would say this is one of those games where you get a BKB just to live long enough for things actually go late game. You get the BKB, you don't get nuked down, and you can actually win fights. And once you win a few fights, you get the time you need for everyone to snowball. Maybe you don't snowball as hard as you would if you would skip the BKB, but then that leaves room for the Luna and the TA to actually get a few items up, rather than just being sieged like this. So, yeah. Of course, the biggest damage thing on the Venomancer is his ultimate, which is also insane. So, it can't kill you, it can only bring you down to 1 HP if you take a damage tick from the Venomancer ultimate, and you would be reduced below 1 HP, it would just reduce you to 1 HP. But of course, if you're hit by several things, like a Gale and an ultimate, that's pretty much a death sentence, because I'm pretty sure this ultimate right now, if memory serves, it's around 700 or 800 damage, and with Aghanim's up, it's actually closer to 1100 damage. So that's a lot. It's a lot of damage. Let me just see if I'm right. Damage 81, the duration is 15. So yeah, that's actually more. Spraying Ring of Poison, upgradable by Aghanim's. Poison Nova cannot deal lethal damage. Yes. So it says, so is it once per second? Because that seems... Yeah, then it's actually a stupid amount of damage. It is it's actually well above 1000 just for the level 3 ultimate. But that is, yeah, that is why it's scary to have a high level or a Venomancer with a level advantage. Like the magic damage is just insane, and you kind of want to be a carry that can actually get a BKB or will normally get a BKB.
Radiant Dire's top tower has fallen.
Here we go.
Middle tower is under
They decide to counterattack. They need to defend.
Radiant's middle tower is
Go.
under
They managed to
attack.
get the Slark. Slark's an important hero to get. But it's almost more important that they kill the Venomancer and stop him from finishing that Aghanim's, because when she finishes that Aghanim's, this is actually a little bit... So, of course, all magical damage is reduced by 25%. Almost all heroes have a base magical resistance of 25%. I believe there's one hero, I can't kind of blanking out of who it is, but there's one hero that starts with more than 25% magical resistance. No, I can't remember. But yeah, in any case, so the Venomancer ult, it was 81 times 15. So that's already like 1200, but you only take 3/4 of that. So that is 75 plus 50, so it's 800 damage or so, which is still most of Riki's lifetime will just go to this one Venomancer ult. So stacking up on a BKB and using that to win a few fights, definitely the way to go here. They do manage to kill off the Slark though. Very important that this guy doesn't get anything either. So very much liking that a lot. Right now he's got a Mask of Madness. He's going into actually. This is very weird. Normally what you see Slark spilling into is like a Blink or a Skadi or both. Both of those really good items on him. Or Shadowblade is also very popular. I haven't actually seen Mask of Madness before. It makes a lot of sense with his Essence Shift. More attacks equals good times there, and of course, yeah, I don't think Assault Courier is bad on him, but do you really need it as like a second item? That seems more dubious to me. So Riki is going straight. He's going Diffusal Blade into Yasha into a Butterfly here, and I think this Yasha should almost certainly go into a Manta style before a Butterfly. Not only because the Butterfly is much better at dealing with physical damage than magical damage, and at least the Manta style will give you some HP, just a 10 string. Very easy kill on the Slark there. See, now if the Slark had a blink there, he might have actually been able to escape if he'd been having fast reactions.
Under attack. Radiant's middle tower, Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Riki's backstabs now are doing a lot of damage.
Radiant's top tower has
This is the point where getting a lot of agility, 25 and then another 16, really stacking it up on this this hero really matters. Can last hit with ease, taking like half a creep's HP, but you can still be ganked very easily. We'll see if he's got actually a Sentry Ward down here, so they can actually check if they have opposing walls down.
Roshan has
Comes in just to
fallen
help
the
with the
dark.
Roshan there quickly. But I think this is a bad purchase. I think the best purchase would be a BKB. I think normally I would favor Amanda style over a butterfly. But it's not horrible.
You never felt more shit, did you?
Radiant's top tower is under
This
attack.
is a little bit too grave for my taste. Like, the only way, like, the easiest way to get killed is to be caught up by multiple enemies. And I think it's much less of a concern to keep the enemy team, to keep them occupied or keep them suppressed, than it is for you to actually snowball yourself in this case. So normally this is pretty good behavior, especially when you have other carries on your team for a slug. Oh, this is this. Oh, it's gonna be close. Oh, 25 HP. So yeah, oh, Venom Scale. Do not want, do not like. So much damage, so much damage. Yeah, so I think rather than actually going out and ganking so much as the Riki here, just farming up and just trying to take them on when they push far out into the map is much better than trying for stuff like this. The Slug ended up dying anyways, but I don't know how much the Riki really had to do with that here. So big team fight, arriving in it fashionably late. Gonna see how much he can actually do here. Yeah. They lost to Luna and they lost to Aegis on the TA, so that's not super good.
I know I can trust you guys.
But the Riki is getting some levels now, and he is actually starting to get some HP. He does have like 2 strength per level, does gain 2 strength per level here. So that's pretty decent. It's not very impressive, but it's it certainly is significant enough. I would love to see him pick up some heavier HP items, just to be able to deal with all this magical burst. And I think just Amanda style, just those 10 strength there would actually do a lot. 130 extra health. But I mean, he's got, so the thing is, all his defense is just towards this physical stuff, but there's plenty of magical damage coming from the other team, just through the Venomancer, the Marauders call down, all the effects from the Undying and the Slug can all just do tons of damage magically. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's probably gonna work out pretty well, but I think if he'd gone for a BKB after the Diffusal, that would have worked out better. But it's been delayed so much now that he's kind of gotten to the point where they can actually deal with it. And of course, it should be noted, of course, that the Butterfly will be a far better offensive choice than the others here. And if you're not looking, if you think you can avoid these 5v5 fights, then the BKB is definitely not the right choice in this case. Because it's only because I think he's going to be forced into these 5v5 fights defending the racks that I want him to pick up a BKB. That would be very much better. He is checking out the enemy equipment here while things are paused. I like that very much, as I've said time and again. You can tell how much a player, you know, it's a very telltale sign of a player who thinks about things, that he checks the enemy equipment, and you know, always good to see it and to consider it, even if you think you know what's going on. Just knowing for sure that, hey, this Slug actually just bulking up on armor and attack speed and doesn't actually have any right click items, so his right click is pretty mediocre right now. He's relying a lot on his innocence shift and his nukes, so he's not actually that scary. 100 damage right click is nothing against what this Riki can dish out, for instance. He's got 184 raw damage, and to that you can add 1.25 times his agility, which is that is probably around 200 extra damage if he hits you in the back. So that's a nearly 400 damage right click from the back with tons of attack speed, of course. So knowing stuff like that can be very, very useful, very, very useful indeed. Honestly, the the scariest person on this team right now, it should be the Slark, but it is kind of the Mirana with the Mana Style and the Desolator. She's got a serious amount of attack speed. She's got the damage, the armor reduction. It's gonna be pretty scary. The Riki isn't super affected by the armor reduction. He's got the dodge. He's got 24 armor, so that isn't super scary. But yeah, for the rest of his team, I would not want to be up against that Mirana right now. It's pretty good. TA really on the farm for this level. Luna also not doing super hot. She does have a BKB. She can use her ultimate to great effect. The Slark's now counter pushing or split pushing, which is something Slark's pretty good at.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Not quite as good as a Weaver, but still pretty good.
Radiant's bottom tower.
It can be worthwhile to use your backstep against creeps. It does work, of course.
Radiant's
So
middle tower.
probably take this tower and TP.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Now, arriving a bit too late
top
to
barracks are under
the
Radiant's
fight
middle
here,
tower
in my
has
opinion.
fallen. Radiant's
He's gonna
middle
probably
tower
end
is
up,
under dire
but
structures
if
are
they had any
fortified.
detection, he could end up dying, of course. Silencers do not interrupt TPs, so you don't actually have a way to interrupt the
Dire's
TP
top
as
barracks has
Riki.
fallen.
Yeah. Now he's going for Sanjin Yasha over a Mana Style. I like this a lot. It's gonna give him a little bit more HP, a nice proc. Yeah, you know, the chance to slow is pretty good. Yeah, I think this is pretty decent. Though maybe a Basher would also be really good. He does have a lot of attack speed now. He's, yeah, 2 attacks, well above 2 attacks per second, which is a lot. You're gonna get that when you're at nearly 200 agility. And I think a Skull Basher might be very, very good. They have lost 1 set of racks. They aren't beyond losing this still. Though things are definitely heading into the late game. There isn't really any of their carries that is completely insurmountable in terms of their farm. Right. This is a pretty typical engagement at this level of play, which goes wrong, and I wanna stress why it goes wrong. And it's, I think it's just plain impatience, or spotting an opening that isn't actually there. It's kinda symptomatic of how some Riki players think. And the thing is, the reason why these high ground situations are so important is that you have a massive advantage if you can fight on the high ground, or you can force your enemies to move into the high ground and into, say, an Illuminate from your Keeper of the Light and all sorts of nasty stuff like that. Instead, our Riki decides to initiate a fight right out here because he can land a 2-man smokescreen, and he thinks that's a good chance for a fight. This kind of leads to the rest of the team running out of their high ground advantage, going in. He gets nailed by the Venomancer ult and by a Venomous Gale, and there's an Undying Tombstone even. And now the Mirana is landing hits on him, all kinds of nasty stuff's going down. And that's a really bad start for a fight for them. This is not how a high ground fight should look. They've traded the Undying for 2 of their carries now.
Just let you free.
Slark might die.
Came too close to the secrets.
Yeah. So, I mean, on the one hand it's a successful defense, on the other hand it's a 2-for-1 trade, and it's 2 very important heroes. The most important heroes for their team in this case. Okay, so now it's really bad. There's no way they should have chased out that far. But they did, so... The most important heroes on the Dire team right now is the Riki and the Luna. These 2 heroes need to have the big game impact, because the Templar Assassin with an all-important refraction is very, very much hard countered by all the tick damage from this Venomancer. And there's even more tick damage from some of the other heroes, especially Undying with that Tombstone. You can just grind through this refraction so hard, it's not going to do super much. She does have some farm, but the refraction, if it can't really keep you alive too long, the TA just isn't what she could be. So yeah, it's all on this Luna and this Riki, and they should not have chased at all. They should just be looking to postpone the Rex push until these two heroes are back up and they can fight again. So, if you're defending high ground, wait until your enemy is absolutely pushing in the high ground, unless you do like a smoke movement around here. Then you can kinda maybe just do a backstab or something. But that was a very clumsy fight, very unnecessary fight to take right then.
Dire's middle tower.
And they're gonna pay for it.
Middle tower has fallen. Dire's middle barracks. Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
With honor.
Yeah, a bit of fountain diving here. Kind of the other big mistake people make is trying to go for kills instead of objectives here. If they'd gone for the objective, they could have maybe gotten a tower or two. One or two of the central towers here, which would put the Dire in an extremely bad situation. Where they are now really forced to try and take Rags of their own. Since it will just be so hard. Now the late game advantage kind of pushes over to the Radiant side, because they don't have especially good heroes. Okay, they have Luna, but they don't have like, it's just so hard pushing back these creeps once they get stronger with time. And now the time is kind of ticking in favor of the Radiant, whereas before when both sides had Rags, it was ticking in favor of the team with the stronger carries.
Roshan has fallen to the Dire.
Now he's going for BKB, and I really like this again. He's still only at 2000 HP. The Venomancer can still take a very good chunks of that out just with 2 spells. And there is a lot more damage on the field, so he's very mortal still, this Riki. Not at all at the point where he's the all-powerful carry. And they're still looking for a fight here. Enemy is a bit fragmented. Doesn't take it, okay. Yeah, this time they kind of lost their high ground advantage. Now that there are 2 entry points they can move into without taking any... Right. Okay, so this is, at least they're on the high ground, but now it is kind of too late for a high ground fight when you already lost 2 sets of Rags. So now it's just kind of an open field fight. You don't have the lack of vision, you don't have the trap momentum stuff. So let's just see how this works out. Slug and the Venomancer just kind of initiated. Slug gets burst down very fast. Venomancer gets a very nice Venomous ultimate off Poison Nova. Very nice combo from the Darkseer. As I mentioned, his combo in the late game is pretty good. The Riki gets burst down. The Dune is already dead. The Abaddon is well on its way to being dead. I'd love to see how they would want to win this. So, did we have a buyback there? No, we didn't have a buyback there. Okay. So that's pretty good. And again, the flaw is kind of that the enemy even takes this fight. They should not be looking to take this fight and just GG it. They should be looking to pressure these Rags. Because if they're just passively pressuring these Rags, and they have a Venomancer, they can do that. If the enemy even takes a fight here, there's a high chance of when the lanes are this pushed that your mega creeps, or yeah, your creeps will just go in and take the last towers. So always go for the objective. And you know, the thing is, if you take all 3 sets of Rags, you get even larger creeps, which is completely insurmountable in 99% of cases. So you should go for that. When it's at all problematic taking a 5v5 fight, you go for just taking the objective. So do that, especially when the lanes are pushed like this. They did manage to hold. They had to pay a lot of heroes. They lost a lot of heroes because they wanted to do that, but they still pulled through. The Slug is doing okay. We still don't have a net worth. I'm gonna guess. Nope. It's so weird. But we can look at the gold per minute. He is very rich in this game. He's doing quite well for himself, even though he has died sometimes unnecessarily. Riki getting Riki here. Darkseer picking up an invis, managing to just juke outside of that sentry range after getting initiated on. Very nice. But the fact that he survived that fight meant the Riki now buy his BKB, and I think probably the way to win this for them is to just keep getting good fights and then making a counter push. Very simple. They do have the Luna. She does have some farm. She can combat these mega waves pretty, like, a lot better than a lot of other heroes. It's not as good as like a Gyrocopter or a Medusa, but it's still really good. So probably the reason why our Riki hasn't actually bought the BKB yet is that he's saving for buyback, which is pretty smart. Blade mail there, not a really good reason to get a BKB. Really hurts a Riki. If you're having trouble with Riki ganking you and you're a tanky hero, a blade mail can really do a number on him. And even if he has to trade a BKB charge for a solo gank, that can be worth it. The large BKB charges are worth a lot. So they trade off a small brawl out here and losing a few heroes for what looks like Rex, which is not so good, because if the enemy is smart, they just go for the GG push now.
Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
Looks like the enemy is fragmented now, which is the worst thing to do. 3 are going down here to deal with this, and 2 are going up the top to try and push in the lane. The Luna pays with her life, but there's no one really defending. They are losing one tower. Slark doesn't have that much damage still.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
They fend off the attack, so very nice trade there. They lost the tower there, but they did get a Rex, so that's pretty good. That's pretty good. It's okay. It could be a lot better, but it's not that bad either. If they got a lane of Rex at least, that would have been worth it almost certainly. But this is pretty close to even. They did like a tower for tower plus a Rex. It's okay, but these buildings just need to stay up. They have lost one of their central towers as well. So, yeah, it's all at this stage. It's all about the movement, and all about the decision making. And honestly, it was pretty sharp by the Riki here. I think the enemy team would be better served by just either all defending or all pushing. Probably all pushing. As if because if they can bring down this last set of racks, even if they trade with another set of racks, if they just have one set of racks up, the enemy has none, it's gonna be astronomically easier. It's gonna be super much easier. Such a good situation for them. Cordle deciding, Riki, you are gonna get back. Now, one thing I want to mention. If you have a Chen or a Cordle or like a Wisp on your team, someone who can really just put your hero in a very different position at their initiative without you necessarily being aware, you can just double tap your F1 key by default. And that will take you to wherever your hero is right now. And if you feel there's something you don't know where your hero is, just double tap it and you will be right where that hero is. So yeah, just a quick note on that for playing with heroes like that. Took quite a long time to get through that Venomancer there, but did manage to use the BKB to dodge most of the poison damage, which means he still has about 2k life left. That Phantasmal wall here is just doing so much work. This is looking pretty grim right now. Tons of effects going out. Mirana managed to right click down the Slark. The blade mail from the Undying also still doing work. Very good pick up on him. Very nice buyback from our Riki here. Absolutely have to defend here, so
They got a bargain.
very important in these situations. You don't hesitate with the buyback. Just because you have to win now. You have to win this fight, and it has to be right now. Who's to travel here? I'm not sure. That's super good. It's pretty good. It's probably the right choice, but yeah. I think still a Basher would be insane this game. You have so much attack speed, just so much attack speed. We're even faster now. We're a little bit off 3 attacks per second. We're probably at 2.5 attack a second. which is quite insane. You can get some really good bashes off there, and you just keep bashing someone like the Venomancer there. He might not even have gotten his venomous scale off, and that would have been a lot better. Yeah, a little bit of passive farming going on. Really weird that they didn't do a more consorted push. That's definitely the response I would have wanted here from them. It's just a straight push down the middle, finish up this Rex. When you have creeps come in from one side of the lane, even as soon as one of the lanes are pushed into the high ground, you can take the Rex on any side without the backdoor protection. So just push down mid, take the last Rex there, work on the next Rex. That is the way you get back into this game. Instead, that victory there, that buyback and all that, actually left your enemies with kind of a leg up. Like now you have a few heroes that can't buy back, or actually you. Oh yeah, that's the ultimate counter. I keep forgetting that. So yeah, Slark can't buy back for 3 minutes, and I think maybe they had another buyback as well. No, the Riki. Sorry, the Riki. Mixed them up there for a second. They do want to get Roche here. Good move, of course. Very good in the late game.
Roshan has fallen to the dire.
Go. Immortal Riki. So yeah, he's kind of split pushing, making sure that if they have to defend one lane, the others are at least pushed out, so that the creeps just don't just push in. These smoke screens is honestly the biggest flaw in this Riki's play so far. So there is a Manta in play. He just got another Manta, an Orchid in play, probably from the Venomancer. Just check. Yes. That is an Orchid on the Venomancer, keeping Slark in check a little bit, disabling his permanent invisibility for a little while and his blink strike, so making the Riki very vulnerable. They did trade the Aegis there for that fight. No one else died actually, but the enemy is kind of free to just push out their lanes again. And this is looking pretty good. He's gonna rebuy his Diffusal Blade just to get new charges on it. That's pretty smart if he has something he really needs to use it on. Well, I'm not super certain what that is here. Not super certain. They make a play for the Slark. If you had a Basher, that would have been a lot easier. You are doing a lot of damage, especially when he has that that Mask of Madness on. Very nice diffuse there, try and catch up with him. But Slark, one of the slipperiest heroes in the game, unintentional. At least if he doesn't turn around, he is.
Complete.
And he also, built really badly. This is such a glass cannon build, honestly. He does have, Assault Cuirass, but there's no... I'm really missing like a Blink and a Skadi here. Really, really am. Now the Slark is down, they can take fights a lot easier. Venomancer misses the Riki with his ult, but hits a few others. Looks like we have a Satanic... No, that's just a regular Dominator. But that looked like Satanic kind of life gains there on the Luna.
My venom flows again.
Venomancer buys back into the game, but now they're pretty close to at least getting a Rax down here. Nice blink away from the Venomancer there, very very nicely played. I really like how this Venomancer is playing. This is really effective for this stage in the game against the heroes. He's up against the Venomancer is doing a lot. TA kinda far forward. Now the Undying's kinda far forward. He does use his blade mail though, which is an issue. I think the 6th item for this Riki should actually just be a heart. That's the only thing he's missing. He's got plenty of damage. Just needs, a little bit more HP. Could also be a Satanic. Satanic would actually be quite insane. when you have as much damage as he does. And he's back to just pushing out a lane. Did kind of ditch the one of their heroes, but yeah, the enemies are. I'm a little surprised they didn't manage to get the Rax there, but they got the Venomancer buyback at least. That is worth something for the next 3 or so minutes. Apropos buyback, the Riki's buyback's up again. And we can start to see what what they want to make for this this upcoming defense. Very important that they make this defense, of course. Oh, there we go.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Riki gets burst down. He needs to buy back right now. Oh, he's out. He's actually out of buyback. He didn't have enough reliable gold.
Dire's ancient is under attack.
He was like 2 last hits off
Dire's
buyback.
ancient is
That's
under attack.
unfortunate. Yeah.
Radiant
He does
victory.
remark on it there. 70 gold away from buyback. That's about 2 last hits. A little bit upset that it came down to that, but honestly, he could have played better, definitely. So to recap, he did some very good things. A little bit over aggressive in lane, didn't pay enough mind to where he knew there were sentry wards that hadn't been dewarded, so he could have lost. He could have died a little less in lane. Generally, I think it's a bad idea for Riki to be super aggressive in lane. He did manage to get a double kill for his troubles though, so can't really fault him for that. In that case though, the enemies did run out of regen and just kind of hung around on half-life. Very good way to get killed in lane. Very good way to get killed in general. Mostly though, I think an earlier BKB, and in general, I would love to see a Skull Basher included in this mix, probably over the Butterfly. An Abyssal Blade over that Butterfly would have been great, absolutely great. The Venomancer gave you a bit more trouble than you needed than you could afford to in the mid game, or late mid game. Let's say beginning of the late game, where you could definitely have a BKB finished. And yeah, that you just kind of got burst down by all the magical damage a few times, where a BKB would have saved your ass really easily. There was a few times where you were just hitting on the Undying with the Blade Mail, and I think that did a lot to kill you in a few fights. So Undying generally not a very super good focus target, not when there's Venomancers and Miranas around and stuff like that. Yeah, your movement in general was pretty good. I think there was a few attempts to gank them, where there wasn't enough kind of information on the screen, or information about the enemy team's locations to really make that call very efficiently. And I think there was that high ground fight that you lost, and kind of lost the Rax because of that, because of your initiation on the low ground outside of it, because you could get a 2-man smoke screen. And apropos the smoke screens, you need to hit those better, and you need to hit those a lot better. Yeah, just need to do that. In general, you had a lot of problems ganking the Slark. In general, I think a Basher there that's primarily what I wanted for, just keeping those targets in check. Instead of doing something like refreshing your diffusal, I don't think that's in any way nearly as useful here as that. If there was like an Omni Knight or someone else with a powerful defensive ability you needed to purge, then I think that would be good. But you didn't, so I think stick it on one diffusal blade is plenty, and then you can just get the Basher for all your pin down needs, especially after you get the Butterfly. I think that would be very good. So instead of going diffusal blade into Yasha into Butterfly, I would like you to go diffusal blade into BKB into maybe a Butterfly and then the Skull Basher here, and then just stick on power threads instead of going for the Boots of Travel. You really didn't get a lot of use out of those, and you can spare the inventory slot for a little bit longer. Unfortunate that you didn't have the buyback money in the late game here, but that stuff happens. And honestly, I think you should lose this game. You had such a lot of problems actually pushing their high ground down that it was a little Little too unfortunate. Overall though, I think you played well. I think you acquitted yourself very well. You did get a 22-9-11 score, so that obviously pretty good. Certainly in a losing game, that's more than you can ask for. And I think the easiest route out for your team is for your Luna player to get a little bit more farm. 378 last hits isn't too bad, but in an hour-long game you can definitely do a lot better, and certainly 10 deaths isn't so good. The real kicker is just looking at her items here. She just had one good attacking item and then a BKB, Hammer of the Dominator, and a Boots to Travel. This is not nearly where Luna should be in this game. But then again, she did only have kind of the secondary farmer slot, I guess you could say. But, you know, if she had had more farm and been able to do more against the opponents, that would have helped immensely. But still, there were some things you could have done. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope anyone who watches this will enjoy it, and if they do, consider subscribing and or liking. My name is Ben Cerebellum. The instructions for sending in videos for review will, as always, be in the description for this video, and that's going to be it for this time. I'm out.